Hey guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. My name is Alec. I am your host, and welcome. If this is your first time listening to the show, then I hope that you enjoy this episode. If you do, thank you, and I hope that you check out the other amazing episodes that we have here. If you are an avid listener of the podcast, and you've been listening to the podcast for the nth time, thank you so much. And I hope that we continue on this journey of just growing together, building, on top of the growth that we have seen over the years. And I have grown a lot, and I hope that you guys have grown a lot as well. But we're just starting, right? This is a continuous process, and I'm happy that you still clicked on this episode, and I hope that you can get a lot of value from this as well. So, in this quick episode, I just wanna tell you, I wanna tell you what are the different, stages of change. And you might not be aware of this, but there are actually a lot of different stages of change. Now, from the beginning of you want to change, right? When the change is actually manifested in your life, there's different stages of it. And you got to understand this as different steps so that you become aware on where you currently are, and maybe if you see a roadblock, you can handle it, or if not, you can be clear on what direction you want to see for yourself. Okay? And so I've been a huge fan of change. Like, I've accepted that there are only three things that are constant in this world: death, taxes, and change. Okay? Death, change, and taxes. Those are just the three things that are going to be constant in this world. And if you accepted that change is going to be here, then might as well understand it. Because if we want to master change, then we got to understand what change is all about. Okay? And so, this is basically the simple process of change, and I will share it with you. And maybe let me know in the comment section, or maybe the question and answer, what step are you in terms of your change. Okay, so there's basically 7 steps to seeing the change manifested in your life. And it starts with, of course, number 1, the idea. It starts with your idea of changing. It really begins in your head. Like, one of my favorite quotes of all time says, if you can see it in your head, you can see it in your hands. If you can see it in your mind, you can see it in real life. Okay. Everything starts with an idea. Like, think about it. Like, for example, you're hungry, right? You're hungry and you had an idea of cooking, let's say, pancit canton. It's one of my favorite examples for all time. But for example, you're hungry and you want pancit canton. It starts with an idea, right? And then fast forward a couple of hours, you now are eating pancit canton. And you might say that, wow, that's magic. Suddenly there's pancit canton. But it started with an idea. And the thing about life is, most of the time, we can be intentional about the changes that are happening in our lives. Because even if we're not intentional with our changes, life will push us to the edge and change us. So it's really up to us. Are we going to be intentional with the changes that we are having or not? But if we are going to be intentional, then you got to think about, okay, what's that idea? Usually, this idea comes in 2 ways. You either come from it from a very, very painful point in your life where you feel so much emotions that you want to change what's happening, or you got an insightful idea, okay, coming from within, maybe understanding a different person's story, perspective, insight as well, and then you have a download. I say download because it's like coming from somewhere up there. And you download it in your mind and you say, oh my gosh, I want this change to happen in my life. Okay. Now, it's an idea, and that's the beginning of change. But again, it's not enough. You got to be able to translate that idea to the second step of change, which is now thoughts. Thoughts is an idea repeated over and over again. So, thoughts, if this idea is now being translated to a constant streamline of thoughts, then you would know that this is not just an idea anymore. It's something you start to think of different ways on how you could do it. Whatever that changes. If, for example, you have an idea, okay, I want to change my finances. No, I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of not earning my dream income. That's my idea. And I start to think about it over and over again. Now I start to have more thoughts on it. Okay, if I start to have more thoughts on it, I imagine that dream life of me not being able, not worrying about money anymore. The thought of me, living a life by the beach or by the farm, owning all of these things that I want. The thought of it is not just an idea anymore. It's a picture, a clear image in my head. And I think of it more and more and more. And what I believe is something repeated in our mind creates this loop, okay? Creates even the signal in your body that, this is the time that now change comes to the third, okay? The third step, which is a third part, which is feelings. So once an idea becomes a thought, it becomes repeated over and over. Now your mind is telling you to, also bring up this feeling. And this feeling is usually, coming from your heart. You feel it in your heart, okay? Whether it's excitement, whether it's love, whether it's anger, you're pissed at your current situation, whether you're sad, whether you're happy about it. Now your mind is telling your body to feel these things, okay? Because that's actually important as you're trying to create certain manifestations in your life. You need to be able to project what this actually feels. That's why. And if you understand this, I'm telling you, you will understand the law of attraction. If you understand that whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, you just got to feel it so much more. You got to create a huge vibrational change when it comes to your feelings so that you would attract the things into your life, attract the change into your life. Thoughts are very powerful. Thoughts are electric. Okay? In fact, every time you spread out a thought, it's like a brain wave that pushes out. There's a slight, bump. If you check it, I think they did a study behind this. Every time you think of something, the brainwave kind of pumps up. If you think about it over and over, it becomes this rapid fire of brainwaves. And now it becomes so electric, it activates your heart. And your heart is magnetic. Okay, your thoughts are electric, but your hearts are magnetic. When you feel it, you don't just send the signal to the world, you start to be open to receive it. And then when you're open to receive it, you start to attract opportunities along your way. Okay? And when you feel it, when you feel that change, that, oh my gosh, it's here, I can feel it. I know what that feels like. That change that we're trying to talk about, that came from this idea that became a thought, now it is a feeling, and this feeling is so strong that it creates the ripple effect. Okay, this is the make or break here. If you know how it feels like, you accomplish two things. Number one, you get to experience it as early as now. Congratulations of feeling that change. Second of all, you open a lot of opportunities, and this will be what is the key for you to go to the next steps. Okay, very important. Create a very strong feeling around that change, because if you do, now you get to the fourth stage, which is you are in the planning stage. You can think about it all you want. You can feel about it all you want. But if you don't have a plan, it's still not going to work. You could be the best architect in the world. If you don't have a blueprint for your house, you're not going to be able to build it. Okay, you're not going to be able to build it. Funny thing, that's also something that I tell my clients when I'm doing the financial planning session with them. If you want to, schedule a financial planning session with me, I'd be more than happy to get you to the next level of your finances. Let's check your blueprint. If you're tired of your finances, send me a message. Coach, I want to schedule a coaching session, a financial coaching session with you. If you're working already, I want to help you out, especially if you're a young professional or you have a restart in your life. I want to help you out. Okay? Just tell me that you are from the podcast, and I'd give to you my free slots in the next coming weeks. Okay? But again, if you don't have a plan for it, you're not going to be able to make it. So again, what's your plan? And your plan doesn't need to be perfect. Your plan doesn't need to be sound. Your plan just needs to be a plan A. Because if plan A doesn't work, you have plan B, plan C, plan D, up to plan Z. Okay? But you got to have a plan. Because a plan is like the buying that matchstick that will ignite the fire of change. Okay? Now that you have a plan, it now goes to the fifth stage, which is commitment. Because you have a plan, the next thing that you need to do is you need to be able to commit to this. And commitment is understanding that you need to do it. You need to do whatever it takes to make it happen. It's not just, okay, I commit to this. I'm going to do this today or this week. I'm going to do it as long as I can, as long as I intend to do, for me to make sure that this happens. Commitment is very important. The biggest factor of successful people, it's not IQ, it's not AQ, it's actually your commitment level into what you're trying to do. It's your perseverance. Are you making sure that you're doing this no matter what it takes to see the change, to see the result that you want to see? Because when you are committed, nothing is impossible for you. So that's the fifth stage. Okay, you make a commitment. If you make a commitment, no more backdoor on this. No more excuses on this. Just make it happen. Because here's the thing: life will happen. Life will throw you a lot of excuses. Life will throw you a lot of reasons for you not to achieve what you can achieve. But if you are committed, you will see it no matter what. A little bit extreme, definitely. You want extreme results, you need to do the extreme stuff. That's commitment. There is no person who is not committed to their success, to their growth, to their change that became successful. So you got to be able to be 100% all in. Because if you do that, now you create a system, goes to the level sixth level of change, which is building the habits. Becomes a plan. You do it all over again, over and over and over. It becomes a habit. Best way to do this: read the book Atomic Habits. Apply everything. Right. My favorite quote there is: you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And if your systems is basically your habit system, what's your habit system that will allow you to create that change? If you have that habit and it's now integrated, the key word here is integration. You don't need to change whoever you are, like a big change. You just need to make small incremental changes, sustainable changes, so that you can create a habit loop for you to see that change. Because once it is a habit, which is number 6, now it goes to the 7th part and the last part, which is now it becomes your lifestyle. It's not just a habit, it's your lifestyle. When it becomes your lifestyle, it's something that you can't live without. Like, for example, it's not your habit of, brushing your teeth anymore. It's your lifestyle. It's something that you do. You don't force yourself anymore. You don't push yourself anymore to brush your teeth. You just brush your teeth, right? It becomes a lifestyle. That becomes with the change that's also the same with the change that you're trying to seek. It becomes so automatic that it now becomes your norm. It now becomes who you are. And that is the last part of the change. Because if you do this, change is not a change anymore. The change is now the normal. And so I hope that this makes sense. If you like this podcast, let me know what stage are you in by answering the question down below. And I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I think this is going to be a pretty amazing episode. Share this. Don't forget to tag me at Alec Cuenca on Instagram and on Threads. Thank you so much. Again, if you want to support the podcast, you can buy my ebook and my courses down below. Please support the podcast. I would truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. My name is Alec Cuenca. This is Small Talk, Small Conversations with huge impact. Talk to you guys next episode. Peace.